I'm the vicar here at St Mary's and I've been here since 2009.
And my name's Sue Ayling. I'm the assistant priest. I've been here since February 2012.
And between us, Sue and I do most of the baptism services that happen here at St Mary's. And officiating at a baptism, well, it's one of the great joys of being a priest, isn't it, Sue?
It is, because you're with people in a particularly special time of their lives. They're giving thanks for the gift of a child. They've got family and friends all gathered together, and there's lots of smiles.
That's right. Now, as this is a video about baptism, it's probably worth talking a little bit about what baptism is. Baptism is a great celebration of a new life, a new beginning. It's the joining of the church. It marks the beginning of Christian life. There are all sorts of different aspects to baptism, aren't there?
Yeah, I particularly like the fact that when a baby is baptised or when the baby is christened, baptism and christening is the same thing. We give them a badge, we sign them with holy oil, and that's a badge to show that they're a member of God's church. Wherever they go, they are a member of God's church and can feel that they belong.
Because baptism is such a big celebration, such a joyful time, we always celebrate it here at St Mary's with a full big celebratory service. We have a choir, usually, most of the time, we have a choir leading the singing and the hymns. We have readings, we have prayers. Often there'll be 2 or 3 families bringing a child to baptism at the same service. But the baptism itself, within that service, takes place here at our medieval stone font. This font has been used for centuries, well over 500 years, to baptise children and adults here in Ewell. So it's a wonderful piece of history that really marks that continuity over the ages. And through those centuries, and still today, a very wide variety of people come to St Mary's or bring their child to St Mary's for baptism. A huge variety of different backgrounds and traditions, don't they, Sue?
Yes, and different ages.
Different
as well,
ages.
You know, from tiny babies, toddlers, to people that are actually a little bit older because they have made a decision through talking to friends or maybe from coming to church that they would like to be baptised. And
some families who come for a baptism here are regular churchgoers. For others, it's something quite new. Often, it seems to happen that when a couple have a child, they start to think perhaps about matters of faith for perhaps the first time and start coming to church and come to baptism that way. So really we welcome people from all sorts of different backgrounds and traditions, and it's great to do so and to celebrate that diversity. I suppose what they all have in common is that they decide that here, this beautiful place, St Mary's, is the place that they want to come to celebrate their family's baptism, because they see this as a place where they feel welcome, where they can belong, and where they can bring up their child in the life of the church over the years ahead through all the different groups and activities and services and the community, which is St Mary's.
And some of the parents would have brought their babies or toddlers along to toddler group, but not actually come across the road to come into the church. So that's lovely, they make that step. Sometimes, and this is very special, when couples are married here at St Mary's and then they have a baby, they bring their baby to be baptised or christened. And that's very special.
That's right. Others live in the parish, others live further away. So that there are all sorts of different links that people have. So if the people watching this video, Sue, want to find out more, what should they do next?
Well, what I would suggest is that you come to Toddle Up. That's one of our services. It happens once a month at 11 o'clock on a Sunday, and it really is designed specifically for families, for parents who have got toddlers. It's very informal, quite short, lots of music. The toddlers can play instruments, and then after the service we have drinks so parents can chat and socialise.
That's right, and even if you've got babes in arms and not toddlers, then they really seem to enjoy the light and the music of Toddle Up as well, don't they?
Yeah, parents often say their babies really like the music, and they're very good when they're in church often. Doesn't matter if they're not, though.
Absolutely. Well, baptism is the beginning of a lifelong journey, and we very much look forward to seeing you here at St Mary's soon to talk over some more about it.
Well, we've now moved from the font into the welcome area of the church. It's at the back of church in one of the corners, and as you can see, it's full of toys and books, a comfy area, and it's really well used by children, parents, toddlers, every Sunday at most services. It's particularly used at baptisms when we really like children and toddlers to come and feel comfortable. So baptism starts, this journey of faith starts at the baptism service when everybody will gather together. And now we're thinking particularly about godparents.
Well, I was actually asked to be a godparent for the first time of a child 3 years ago, and some friends of mine just had a baby daughter called Catherine, and they asked me to be her godfather. And I went to where they lived, to the church there, and there was a baptism service, and at the end I was given a card. And we give these cards here these certificates cards to godparents here at St Mary's as well. And it reminds me on it what my responsibilities as Catherine's godfather are, and I'm going to read them out. It says that I should pray regularly for her. I should set her an example of Christian living. I should help her to grow in the faith of God, Father, Son and Holy Spirit. I should give her every encouragement to follow Christ and help her to look forward to her confirmation. Now, I keep this card above my desk in my study, and it's really humbling actually to think that friends of mine with a precious baby newborn daughter should choose me to be a godparent and to fulfill those responsibilities, and so that's something that I try to do. So that was 3 years ago, as I mentioned, but so you've been a godmother for a bit longer than that.
I have a lot longer, Russell. In fact, I was chosen to be godmother to my nephew and niece because I was their aunt, so a relative, and they were baptised when they were 5 years and 3 years old respectively. They're now in their late 20s, but I still send them a card every year on the anniversary of their baptism. Partly to remind them of their baptism, partly to say, I still think of you. And I do try and pray for them, maybe not every day, but at least once a week, because I think that's very important. But it's a question of being there for them and knowing that I'm thinking about them.
And being a godparent, that actually starts at the baptism service itself, doesn't it?
It does. And we often think that at a baptism, it's the baby and the parents who are really key, and they are such an important part of the service. Obviously the focus is on the baby who is beginning his or her journey of faith, but the godparents too play a critical role. They will sit with the baby and his or her parents, and when the baby and parents come up the front to make their declarations, their promises about how they're going to look out for the baby in future, the godparents come up to the front and make their promises.
So when you're choosing godparents, thinking about who you're going to ask to be godparents to your child, then the usual number to choose is 3 godparents and at least 1 of each sex. Now the godparents, they have to themselves have been baptised or christened. 2 words, they mean the same thing. So that's something that you perhaps need to ask your godparents if they've been baptised. If they haven't been baptised, then there are a couple of different approaches. Sometimes, in being asked to be a godparent, that's the impetus that somebody needs to decide actually they would like to get baptised now as an adult, and we've sometimes prepared adults for baptism here at St Mary's because they're going to be a godparent, and that works really well. That's a very joyful occasion and a good thing to do. Of course, there are people who, for whatever reason, don't want to get baptised themselves, but you still feel that you would like them to play an important role in your child's life. So what we do here at St Mary's is we call them honorary godparents, and they're very welcome to participate in the service just as much as the other godparents. They're in addition to the other godparents who are baptised, and they're very welcome, and of course they can play a very important role, and that works very well too. So that's how some of the information that can help you think about who you're going to ask to be godparents. As we've been saying, it is an important role and a decision that's worth spending some time thinking about, isn't it, Sue?
Definitely. I mean, we've said that baptism is the beginning of the journey of faith, so much tied up with the journey of life, and through everyone's life they have ups and downs, and when you're thinking about who you will choose to be godparents for your baby, do think about someone who will be there for them in all the ups and downs of their lives, the good times and the bad, who will accept them for who they are, and go on loving them and be there for them, really as a friend, particularly when they grow up.
Well, if you've got any questions about godparents, about any aspect of the baptism service, please do have a chat with either of us. Come along to a service, whether it's Toddle Up or another service, talk to us, or ring here, phone the parish office here at St Mary's, and we'll be very glad to answer any of your questions.
Look forward to seeing you.
Good to see you all today at Toddle Up. So I was just thinking, Reese was christened back in February, wasn't he, Zoe?
He was indeed, yes. We'd been coming to the church since about September, and we decided that we wanted to get Reese christened. We've been made very welcome at the church. We've really enjoyed coming to Toddle Up, and the Reese's christening was just a fabulous day. We were joined by almost 150 family and friends, and we were lucky he was the only one getting christened on the day, and it's been wonderful. He had a great time. He's obviously enjoying the photos behind us more. But it's been amazing. So
and Matt, you all enjoy coming together to Toddle Up, don't you?
We do enjoy. We come on a monthly basis to Toddle Up, and we never miss it now. We wanted to give Reese a positive start in life, and we feel by coming to the church on a regular basis, having him baptised, has done that really. So he's very happy. He enjoys himself, although he's whinging a little bit at the moment.
He's hungry. He's hungry.
Yeah, he does enjoy it, and it's a good way for him to interact with other families as well from a very young age.
Fantastic. Thank
Thanks
you all very much
much
indeed.